ama1501. This is the question 3a in mock1. The sales amount of invoice of a certain company is normally distributed with a mean of $15,000 and a standard deviation of $5,000. Let X be the sales amount of invoice. Because it is a normal distribution, so we're using the standard normal random variable. The probability of X is less than 11,000 equals to the probability of J is less than minus 0.8. The distribution of J is symmetric, so it's also equals to the probability of J is greater than 0.8. According to the table of the standardized normal distribution, the answer of this problem is 0.2119.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. Today I'm going to talk about mock paper 1, question 3a2. So from question 3a we can get that the sales amount of invoices of a certain company is normally distributed with a mean of 1,500 and a standard deviation of $5,000. And from question 3a2 we can get that it is estimated for an invoice having sales amount less than 1,300 and its gross profit margin will be 25%, otherwise it's going to be 15% only. So our mission is to calculate the mean and the variance of the gross profit margin of the invoices. So with the above information, we can get that the mean is 1,500 and the standard deviation is 5,000. So with the above information, we can now calculate the probability of having gross profit margin at 25%. So our equation to calculate the probability is down here. So X equal to the sales amount, and now we're going to calculate the probability of the sales amount less than 1,300. So we use the 1,300 to subtract 1,500, which is the mean, and we use it to divide by 5,000, the standard deviation. So with the help of the calculator we can get that the answer is 0.4, and now we look at the table of the standardized normal distribution. So all we can see the 0.4 is over here, so we can get that the probability is 0.3446 listed in the table. So the probability is 0.3446, and with the help of this probability now we can get the mean. So the mean is like this. We use the probability to times the gross profit margin, which is 25%, and then we need to add up the other way around. So is the sales amount that is more than 1,300 or just 1,300? So we use 1 to subtract the probability we just calculated, and we use it to times the gross profit margin on the other way around. So we can calculate it that the mean is 18.4458%. So with the mean, we can now calculate the variance. So the variance, we use the probability, and then we need to times the gross profit margin of having sales volume less than 1,300, and we use it to subtract the mean that we just calculated, and in the bracket we need to have a square for it, and then we add up the other way around, just like when we calculate the mean. So we use 1 to subtract the probability, and we use the sum to times the gross profit margin of the other way around. So we use the gross profit margin to subtract the mean which is calculated, and the square again, and then we can calculate it. We can calculate that the variance is 22.585%. So now we have the mean and we have the variance of the gross profit margin, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tokshan, and I will give a solution to the question 3b from mock1. According to the question, a company is going to have an opening ceremony for its new branch, and it intends to invite some guests to the cocktail party in the hall of the branch. Invitation cards will be sent to the selected guests, but experience indicates that only 50% of those invited will come. Suppose that the company sent out 80 invitations. If the hall can only accommodate 45 guests, what is the probability that it will be able to accommodate all the guests who come? In this question we use binomial distribution as we have a fixed number of trials is 80 and each trial is independent of the others. There are only two outcomes, success and failure, and the probability of each outcome remains constant from trial to trial. So, as we have a very large number of trials, according to the normal approximation to the binomial distribution theorem, and we use normal approximation, and because we have a large number of trials, and the success is not close to the 0 and not close to the 1. So according to the coming to the calculation, we have x following by a normal distribution with a mean of 40 and with the standard deviation of 20, and we use that formula to calculate the z. So according to the normal distribution table, probability z less than 1.23 is 0.8907, and as x we take 45.5 as hall can accommodate 45 people. So if we take x as 45, the calculation would be wrong. So the probability that hall can accommodate all the people that will come is 0.8907. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Yoyo. I'm going to present mock paper 1 question 3c. The question is asking, during a normal day, the average number of lorries arriving to upload at the depot is 3 per hour. What is the probability that in any hour more than 3 lorries will arrive? Firstly, this question is a Poisson distribution. So let's let x be the number of lorries arriving in an hour. X is an integer which can be 0, 1, 2, etc. The random variable x is equals to Poisson 3. We are going to calculate the probability of random variable is greater than 3. It is equals to 1 minus the sum of probability of x equals to 0, 1, 2, and 3. After that, we can sub the number into the Poisson distribution equation, which is e to the power negative lambda times lambda to the power x over x factorial. After the substitution, we will have the result of 0.3528, which is the probability that in any hour more than 3 lorries will arrive.
This is Adrian from Group 3 and I'm responsible for Mock 2 Question 3 Part A. The question states that the annual rate of return of a risky investment is normally distributed with a mean of 20% and a standard deviation of 40%. The first part of the question asks what is the probability that the annual rate of return of this investment is between 5% and 50%. To find out the answer, we need to find the standard normal random variable denoted as z, which is equals to x minus the mean over the standard deviation. We also need to substitute it into this formula. So let x be the annual rate of return from the investment fund, where x is normally distributed with a mean of 20 and a variance of 40 squared. The probability of x between 5% and 50% is equals to the probability of 5 minus the mean of 20 over the standard deviation of 40, less than z less than 50 minus 20 over 40. We find out that z is between minus 0.375 and 0.75. We then use 1 minus the probability of z is less than or equals to minus 0.375 minus the probability of z greater than or equal to 0.75. As the normal distribution is symmetric, the probability of z less than or equal to minus 0.375 is also equals to the probability of z greater than or equal to 0.375. We then find out that the probability is 0.4214. Therefore, the probability that the annual rate of return of this investment fund is between 5% and 50% is 0.4214. The second part of the question asks us to determine the annual rate of return such that the probability of exceeding it is 0.05. We can use the same formula here. In this question, we have the probability but not the annual rate in percentage. The same formula to find the standard normal random variable can be used again. The probability of x is greater than or equals to the unknown value is equals to the probability of z is greater than or equals to the formula for standard normal random variable. As we have the probability of 0.05, this is equals to the unknown value minus the mean of 20 over the standard deviation of 40. We find out that the unknown value is 22. Therefore, there is a probability of 0.05 or a 5% chance that the annual rate of return of this investment exceeds 22%.